Hello, welcome. This is Aisley Jackson, City of Savannah Business Approval and Zoning Use Coordinator, coming to you today with a video going over the business location approval application, known as the BLA, short for business location approval. And here we're on the business location approval webpage, and you can get to this webpage if you're watching this video on another site, or if someone sent this to you. You go to www.savannahga.gov/business approvals. And when you type in that into the URL address bar up here, it's going to bring you to this page. The URL is going to change a little bit, but you're here. In the first section is going to go the business location approval, purpose, and what it is. And here is the online business location approval steps. In a previous video, if you want to overview the whole steps and process, watch this video here, the overview video. And in that video, we go over that you must register here, set up an account. We touch bases on the different types of plan types, which is the different types of applications that you have here, and all the way to scheduling your phone appointment, which is step 1B. And while you're waiting to get this part taken care of, you can also start on step 2, which is the business tax certificate information. So that video covers all of that. And the video that you are watching right now is also located right here, the BLA application video. So in this video, we're going to go over one of the applications here. Now, these applications are very similar. The difference is the plan type category. So we categorize these business location approval applications into 6 major or main type categories. The non-residential structure is by far the most popular, which next comes in the home occupation. Business approval is about just the same in popularity. So most businesses are going to fall into non-residential structure. That's your retail businesses, your restaurants, your beauty salons and barbershops, and anything that's in a non-residential type building. Home occupations are businesses that operate or are based out of a residential location. This is most of your mobile businesses. All right, people that are contractors and different janitorial services and photographers, or people that have businesses. They go out, service their clients, or they ship or do online sales, but it's based from your home. All right, so that's what you would do. And then the rest are pretty much self-explanatory. Child care centers to daycare centers. The difference in that and daycare home or personal care homes, these are smaller, based from the home, 6 or less kids, whereas your bigger facilities that you have for child care is child care center. Long-term care facilities, group homes, nursing facilities, which are larger than the personal care homes, or you have the other type of similar personal care homes. They have different categories, CLA, community living arrangements, and stuff like that all fit in the personal care home category. So, and then last but not least is a temporary use business approval. So this is for any of you that is doing temporary vending locations, carnivals or church revivals, or anything where you're, setting up a temporary use, tent sales, stuff that is on private property, not public property, not in any of the squares or parks, but on private property where you have to get a temporary use. This is for that. All right. And then other than that, there's some additional information, other particular forms and things that you need depending on the type of business you are. Car wash, pressure wash, lawn care services need stormwater approval. You can get to that form here. If you're an automobile broker or dealership, you can get to the state of Georgia website where you have to get a zoning certification form submitted to us that we can notarize. So there's some additional information there. And just go through the rest of this page. Our contact information is down here, email address, you name it, if you have further questions. So let's go ahead and jump into the application. All right. And so we're going to use the non-residential application here. You're going to click on apply right there. All right. So clicked on that. That's going to bring you into our eTrack system. Now, before you can get to this page, on the overview video, you have to go and register first. So when you click on that link, if you do not come to this page here, it's because you're not logged in. So that means, you're going to click up here and go to a area that you can create an account. And Once you create an account, you can actually click back on that link and come here. So the first thing you're going to do, you see these steps right here, all laid out for you. You're going to location first. You're going to click on this plus sign and you can enter location. Actually, I'm going to put a location that has unit numbers, a real popular location, which is going to be the Oglethorpe Mall. All right, I was going to put it in another place on Abercorn. As you can see, there are going to be a lot of different units. And if your unit doesn't show up, just pick the basic address and I'll show you an alternate place to kind of let us know what unit you're in. But when you click on this search bar, it'll pull up the unit and you can go to the next page until you see the unit that you're in. And another shortcut is once you can put in street and put 14. And if unit number 14 is there, then it'll pull up 14, 140, 148, 14A. Remember this, the less you put in, the more. All right, so like if you put in too much information, like the street and 1, 4, 5, 7, 8, you're not going to get a result. All right, because it's going to look for all of this data. But if you put in less, don't put in the street or ST at first. Just put in the number and the street name. You don't have to put in east, west, south, and all of that stuff at first, just so you can get an idea if you're going to get some results. All right, and so once you get a result, you can narrow it down from there. Tip number 1, click add. Once you get your address, that's going to let you know what your parcel identification number. A lot of people ask what is the PIN, which is the parcel identification number. There's information up here, lets you know what your parcel number is, and go to sages.org. There's videos and information we have on that. That's not going to be in this video, but you got where you can go to get that. All right, so this pulls up Abercorn Street. You're going to click next, type. Now, if your suite wasn't there, just go ahead and put in right here in description. This is your field to put in, a lot of different information to describe your business, and we'll clean it up. So let's say your unit number is 167F. All right, so you put in suite, STE short for suite, or you can go ahead and unit, whatever, 167F. And let's say I have a arcade in the mall. Okay, so put in an arcade. Or I have a retail shoe store. All right, describe my business. Or I can have a restaurant. All right, so we're going to click next. Now your information here, an address as far as the applicant should pull up here. However, if you need to add another contact type, mainly the applicant is the person that is the representative for the company or the business that's going to get the information. So make sure that somebody has to at least be the applicant. All the rest of the type of contacts is okay to put in if need be, but we're really on this application only concerned about the applicant. All right, so my information there is good enough. I'm gonna click next. Business name, so we're gonna put city restaurant. All right, this is required. Name of the business, business telephone number. All right, if any of these statements are applicable, change of ownership, change of business name, change of address. So, if this business was a restaurant and another address, we moved to here, we would click change of address. All right, change the name. If the business already existed there and changing the name, we would click that. Changing ownership if it was changing ownership. Usually if you change the name, changing the ownership at the same time. So these two a lot of times be clicked together with this one not being clicked. So previous business name or use. This is important because this gets confused a lot with people thinking we're asking you what was your previous business location. We don't really care about where your previous location is. This is a business location approval for this location, this new location that you're applying for right here in this step. So if you're a restaurant and let's say this place used to be a shoe store and you guys are converting it to a restaurant, you don't have to know the name of the shoe store. Just know, it could have been, a Foot Locker and now we're making it a shoe store. Well, that's all we need to know. What was it used for? Retail shoe store. And you're going from a retail space to a restaurant space. All right, and that's where we get that information is important or whatever. So please try to find out from your landlord or management company what was in this space that you're getting ready to either rent or purchase or buy. Put in the square footage. If you have it, if it's applicable. Alcohol sales, yes or no. Do you plan on selling alcohol or not? Proposed business activity. We talked about this in the description a little, but you're going to actually put this information a little bit more specific here. If it was a retail, you'll put a retail type. No retail. All right. So it's not applicable. Number of bedrooms, not applicable. You don't have to put anything in these sections, but just let you know, these two are not applicable. Anything with the red asterisk here is something that's required. Business use. Is your business located in a new building? This is not. The mall is a pre-existing building. New buildings are something that no one has occupied. So this has been occupied. If it was a new building, certificate of occupancy number. If you had a CO number, which is your permit number. So new buildings normally have permits assigned to them. And when you complete it, the permit or whatever, you're going to get a certificate of occupancy and that permit number right here, so that we can look that up, attach that to this application. Are you adding new signage or altering the signage? That's a yes or no. If you are, great, you'll get a sign permit separate. Are you changing the use of the space of the building? Yes, because we're going from a shoe store in this example to a restaurant. All right, so changing the use of the space of the building. Really, we're changing the occupancy class. You can refer to our business process flow chart that's on our main web page there to get a visual idea of how our process is, and reviewing this and why this question is important. So are you making changes to the building, meaning that are you doing alterations or modifications, such as removing walls or putting up walls or moving the electrical or putting up a bar? And yes, this restaurant, yes, we got to do a lot of changes. Install the kitchen and make all type of changes. Is the business located in your home? For these non-residentials, there's going to be no. This is a question that to help us out when you have a lot of people that have a home-based business, but they don't really fill out the application, the right one, and just kind of lets us know it's a red flag if you put yes and you're at the mall. It just doesn't make sense. So, it's a question that kind of gives us an idea that you're on the right track. Are you adding or changing heating, ventilation, air conditioning? We're doing that in this case, but you can say yes or no. Are you adding or changing plumbing? For the restaurant, usually they're going to have a lot of yeses. Most people have a bunch of no's in this categories if they're not changing the use of the space. So if you're going from a shoe store to a shoe store, most of these questions are going to be no. Are you adding and changing electrical? Yes. Do you plan to sell fireworks? No, it's not that type of business. And then you're going to click next. All right, attachments. Now, this is where you're going to attach supporting documents if you have them, if it's required. When you're doing the temporary use application, there are some additional documents that you would end up attaching, and you would upload them here. You'll click this plus button so that you can upload those documents. For this, we don't have to do that. So you're going to click next. And this is the signature area. So please type your name. All right, and it's two ways you can enable signature. You can, one, just, if you're on your phone, you just do this with your finger. I'm doing this with a mouse, so it's not really all that, it's okay. So you can draw it that way, or you can click on this right here and type it in, and then it will come up a little bit nicer and neater here in cursive. And then you click next. And we are here at the end. And at the end of this, you're going to review the application, make sure everything is correct. 7804 Abercorn Street, that's the parcel identification number. That's the unit 167. We put it in the description field, non-residential structure, business approval type. This is the date we applied for this. My name, I put zoning use coordinator as my name. That's why it popped up like that. Address, as far as the contact person, the applicant. Name of the business, phone number, all this good stuff. The questions looks good. You're going to hit submit. If you have to go back, you go back, but you click submit or save draft if you were saving in the middle of it and want to come back to this later. And it's submitted. Your application was successfully submitted. You have successfully submitted application in the City of Savannah. Schedule a BLA review phone appointment time at the following link here. So that means, hey guys, that is the link that we went to and started out in step number 1B. So you can cut and paste, highlight this link, go up here to go to the next step, or you can definitely go to the www.savannahga.gov/business approvals, which is the main page here, because once you submitted that, which was step 1A, you're going to go down here, step 1B. So it's a couple of ways you can get to it. Always can go back to this page to follow the steps step by step, but you'll go to the next, which is step 1B. We're not going to go through that in this video. We went through that previously, but you can go ahead and continue to the plan as well. And this is in your account, and this just kind of shows you how you can track the progress of your application. Of course, your application is not really going to start until your scheduled appointment date. So you want to get that in place. That puts that in our queue as far as prioritizing, because we get a lot of applications that come in on a yearly basis, and this helps us prioritize because only about half of the applications we get in actually follow through with the process. But this portion of the process doesn't cost, and so therefore there's a lot of times where people don't complete the process, and we have to really make sure that we allocate our resources appropriately and be as efficient as possible. And so this allows us to be very efficient with our reviews and get to the most, urgent and prioritize these reviews properly. With that being the case, that is it for this video on submitting a business location approval application. If you have any other questions or anything, feel free come back to the business location approval page and look up our contact information and send out an email or give us a phone call, and we'll go from there. God bless and much success.